Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Onikuli, for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem, and thank you, Ms. Paul, for the heartfelt invocation. We would like to welcome Major Jones's husband, Major Steve Jones, and their children, Elijah and Mariah. Her mother, Natalie Boykin, her mother-in-law, Selva Jones, and her godparents, Randy and Angela Williams. We would also like to welcome Team Bennett, serving the great state of Colorado, Major General Troy Endicott and his spouse, Tammy Endicott, Brigadier General Nikki Franchino, Director of the Space Force Legislative Liaison Office, Ms. Augusta Binns-Berkey, Director of Government Affairs and National Security Policy for Impulse Space, and Mr. Ralph Gaspard, Foreign Policy Advisor to the Chief of Space Operations. Lastly, but not least, we would like to welcome all family, friends, and teammates. We are grateful for your presence today. Thank you. I'd like to say the audience is very good at applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today's presiding official, Colonel Allison Gonzalez. Colonel Gonzalez, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Oh, there's like this step here, and I'm so animated. Let's just pray I don't fall off. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Again, they're good at applauses and salutations. This is awesome. So thank you so much, Carmilya, for having me. And family, it's wonderful to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you throughout the years. It's an honor. So, sirs, ma'ams, it's great to see you as well. All right, so I'm gonna probably move around. This is very restricting. But before we get started, not everyone is familiar with how these ceremonies usually go. So we can do this one of two ways. I can take her record and I can read it line by line, and we can go through all of Carm's achievements and accomplishments and read it bullet by bullet. And we can do this for the next hour since we have this till about 3:30. And then you can see exactly why she's here, and I can just regurgitate everything, and you can fall asleep and not get snacks. We can do that. That's the first course of action. The second one is something I would prefer, and we're gonna highlight what she's done, because that's a given. Your record gets you into the door, but it's who you are, it's how you are, and who brought you here is the reason why we are here, and I'd like to highlight that. But also sprinkle in some razzle-dazzle, some fun facts, and maybe a quiz here or there. Does that sound good? All right. So this all starts in North Carolina with Miss Natalie, her mother. So she grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and is not any stranger to military service, as Miss Natalie was a graphics designer and worked in various functions in the Force Support Squadron on Pope, then Air Force Base, now it's Army Airfield. So throughout her entire life, CJ was exposed to service, military service, and understanding the impacts of family and the gravity of it. So it comes to no surprise that when she was a junior in high school, her mother brought to her, hey, try this aviation camp. This is going to be great. And then before that, she was in JROTC, which is Junior ROTC. So I went through ROTC in college, where you go through a Reserve Officer Training Corps program, and you go through that, and then you commission and become an officer. The junior version is exactly that. You go through that in middle school or high school, and with that intent to do to college. So from early on, she had her military service. And so her mother brought the aviation camp up to CJ. So first question, pop quiz. When she brought up the aviation camp, CJ, because she loves the Air Force, she grew up in it and was used to planes, she said, this is amazing and I am gonna jump right on this. True or false? No family, nope. Anyone else, true or false? Absolutely, you're right, it's false. Why? Because she is scared to death of flying. Does not fly. Planes aren't her thing. But her mom said, you know what, stop complaining, try it anyway and look into it. So she did, and looked, and that thing, AOL, the dial-up back in the day, we'll teach you about it if you don't know, circa 2000s. So she looked up various questions within the camp, and one of the questions she looked up for this aviation camp was the Air Force Academy. So she goes, huh. She learned about the Air Force Academy online and said, that sounds pretty cool. That leads to service. It's the Air Force thing. I dig that. I can do that. And that's how she got the urge to go into the academy. But when she applied the first time, she didn't get in. And so she realized, okay, this isn't a joke. I need to put in the work in order to get into this institution. And CJ, in her structured, regimented, plan-oriented, determined way, she studied. And sure enough, she got into the prep school at the academy. Again, I am just a lowly Roxy grad, so I don't know the vernacular the way you do. So she goes to the academy, and her major is biology. And then in her freshman year, I believe, she meets a gentleman who's a preppy at the prep school. This gentleman here in the front row. And I wish it would be amazing to end the story and go, they fell in love instantly, and 20 years later, here they are. There you go, sir. See, you're cheating. So that's not the case. So they meet each other. My voice carries, so y'all can hear me, right? Okay. So they meet each other, and they get to know each other, and it is a friend basis, because she's in a relationship, he's doing his thing. And so she goes, you know, I really need to talk to Steve, and not to get to know him more, because she needed to find out how to get her hair done. She goes, hey, who do you know around here that can do hair? And then he introduces him to her mother, Miss Selva. And that's how she became familiar with the Jones family. So they're friends for 3 years, friend zoning it. It's great. And then, like all great love stories, she breaks up. And then she's getting her hair done one day by Miss Selva, and she finally says, just all good mamas do, when will y'all stop playing around and just make this happen? And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And they started dating. So they commission their second lieutenant. Steve goes off to Eglin to work program management, and CJ goes to F.E. Warren, missiles. So again, here's a theme, people. Regiment, structure, procedures, checklists. That is missiles all day. I am not missiles. And that is why she thrived. She was a deputy crew commander, a crew commander, then became an instructor. So she crushed it, of course. Again, that's why we're here today. So no surprise there. And so her and Steve are dating, and then they get married. And so that was their tour at F.E. Warren. Fun fact number 2. So we know she's deathly afraid of planes and flying. How does that work, TBY? But so fun fact number 2, while at Warren, she calls this her wilderness zone. You know, all good second lieutenants trying to find themselves. She takes up bodybuilding and roller derby. And that's her thing. I know, right? I was surprised too. So that becomes her jam in fitness, and that's what she does. So again, they both crush their assignments, because I read your record too. We're going to talk about that. And they finish, and so all good missileers, and some don't. But after, they go to Vandenberg together, but then Steve deploys. So she goes to Vandenberg to officer undergraduate space training. Either way, it's the school on Vandenberg to teach you how to do satellite operations and launch. And that's what she does going into satellite operations. So her first assignment in space operations is the 2nd Space Operations Squadron. Okay, for my 2 SOPs people, it is the GPS, the Global Positioning System constellation. I am supposed to say you are welcome, because research. So but she goes to 2 SOPs to do that. And so this is where the story gets a little spicy. And I said, CJ, how spicy do you want the story? Not that much, but we're So I'll put it this way, for my mamas and family-oriented people in the crowd. The overall summary of this assignment is this. She's certified, so she becomes a satellite vehicle operator. Then she becomes an instructor. Then she has a baby. Then she loses her certification at the home for a few months now, having a baby and mommy. Then she comes back, and she has to be certified. Then she does the vehicle operator thing. Then again, the best of the best. operators become instructors, and the best of those instructors become evaluators. She's an evaluator now. Oops, baby, Mariah comes. And now she does this again. So she goes through this whole thing throughout this assignment. So if you can imagine all of the things that happen with being a new mom. And then Steve at this time is a program manager on Keep Working Various programs. That's a hard thing to endure. I was exhausted hearing you tell me.
I know, right?
But this is where it gets a little spicy, because at that time, and I won't get into the dirty detail, but it was a hard time on Shreveport Space Force Base. There were numerous suicides on that base, and it hit every minute. And if I was to describe it, because I was there, it just never knew what was coming that day. It was multiple people. And she lost a few people in her unit. And we come to work and we hear that really sorrow news. And so in a way, not only is she now in this whole new dynamic with two sweet babies. Hello, your mom's awesome. And not only is she going through that and figuring out this dynamic with Steve and making it work, now she has to lead a team trying to figure out how do we go on with this mission when we just lost this person or when we just lost that person. And she did. And she survived. And she persevered, not just survived, but persevered. And I truly believe it's her tribe and her faith and the amazing mentors in this room that God with her. And she gives credit to all of you for that. So after 2 stops, like good old majors, did not major because the records are amazing. It's kind of weird. I thought they were fake. They were so good. So acquisitions, the top acquisition folks go into the National Reconnaissance Office. That's our agency, our Department of War, and the intelligence community agency that operates satellites. So Steve goes there and crushes it as a program manager, and then also goes to professional school, which is called Intermediate Leadership Education. So your ACSC major school. So he does that. And then CJ heads off into the Pentagon. So they do that locally, and she's at the S3. That's our operations director at the headquarters. Let me go back. Before she leaves, I forgot. Right before she leaves, there's this little thing in 2019, early 2020, little thing called COVID. And then a smaller thing called the establishment of a space force. That happens. So she's leading operations, and then she helps out the then group commander, now Delta Commander Matt Colson, now General Colson, stand up this wing. It's not a group, it's not a wing, it's called the Delta. You gotta just create it. Figure it out. What does this look like? CJ, go figure it out. And how did she do it? She also did that in the service throughout 2019, on top of everything else that was happening. If that's not fortitude and perseverance, I don't know what is. So now we're at the and this is just where your record take down. And I'm really going to need Chief Sir to validate this. So she goes into the S3, she goes into the S3 and stands on the watch cell, which is your operations floor of the Pentagon. So all the major events happening in the world, it goes through there and you have to report it up. And then if it's late, you just confirm it goes as a regional when it's late, right? So she goes in and stands up this watch function in the grid, crushes it there. Then next, after that mission was done so well, she was asked to be the exec for then the Space Force Director of Staff at Carmilya. And she, of course, so fun fact number 2, she said, no, I'm having too much fun here doing ops. I don't think I want to do this. And then it was, no, you don't get it.
You can do it.
So good. And that's what she did. And you know what? She crushed it. And she was her exec for about a year, a small stint. And then from there, she becomes one of the strategists for our 4-star General Sultan in the office. And so when you see her rankings amongst her peers on the staff, that is incredible. That is the ultimate in strategic vision and foresight and exposure. And not only did you do it, you were excellent. I saw it from my view at S1, and it was amazing to watch you work. And not only is it amazing to watch her work, it was amazing to
Yes, he
You have a heart for service, and I applaud
Yes.
you for that. That is a fundamental part of who you are. So she could have gotten a master's degree in operations or engineering, MBA like I did, but she didn't. She pursued an advanced degree in what her heart wanted to do, and that is marriage and family counseling. That's her master's degree, because that's where your heart is, and that's how authentic you are. And that led to her job here on the hill where we are today. But again, this is not because of the record as employees, but it's because of who you are. Because you married a gentleman who valued your career as much as he valued his. He didn't have to do I gave you this up. And ma'am, that's because of you. And so I thank you all for today, because you made her who she is. And she would not be here. She is a servant, a leader, servant in the military uniform and outside. She volunteers for multiple organizations, alumni associations within the academy. You can't get her to stop talking about the academy.
Yeah, right.
She loves it, but that's who you are.
Your kids want to apply.
Don't feel beside her. She's passionate about it, and it's authentic. She's a treasurer for various social clubs and works in her church. That's who she is. So when she smiles and asks you how she is, it's not to put on a front. That is just who CJ is naturally. So it is an honor to be here and to preside. It is just something I don't take lightly, and I'm humbled, and it's wonderful. So now let me stop talking, and let's get you promoted.
Very good. Awesome.
Thank you for your
Just right.
Please be seated. So we actually get to blame on you. Please be seated. Major Jones' husband, Stephen and his children, Elijah and Brian, will now in turn be playing on the switch.
Sorry, entertainment.
No Jeopardy music for the mom.
No, no, right.
Can't do that. Get yourself together. It's fine. You're better than me. Here's a hat. I state your full name. Having been appointed a lieutenant colonel in the United States Space Force. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
Yes.
Short, so okay. Yeah, man, so many beautiful faces. Sorry, I did my chat GPT. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. First, Melinda, thank you. Melinda and I go way back to missile days at Effie Warren. We're tied at the hip now. She did a fellowship here as well on the Senate side. So thank you so much for all your beautiful narration today. Ashley, I want to thank you for being my projo. She was the one like, Carmilya, you got to get this together. What are you doing? So thank you so much. Erica, where are you at? Oh, right there. Oh, Erica Melly, newly minted. Thank you so much for all your help, as well as Carl and Nathan, everybody that helped set up. Thank you so much. And then to my sister, friends, KT and Jasmine, thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful prayer. Jasmine is a preacher by trade, so and then KT, I couldn't have anybody else come and do the national anthem. Come on now. General Endicott, Mr. Endicott, thank you so much for coming. So General Endicott, I was exec for him in the Pentagon, and he was the one that kicked me out of S3 and was like, go. But I learned so much from you, sir. I really did, and I'm forever grateful. You were the first person that kind of literally wrote out on a piece of napkin, how does Congress work? The levels of from where we are in the DOD or DOW to Capitol Hill. So I'm here today because of you, sir. So thank you, Miss Tammy. Love you. We have plenty of text conversations like, hey, when is he going to get out of the office? And I hope all is well with the kids. Ms. Binsberkey, our days in the SIG, running around trying to figure out what should General Saltzman do next. Thank you so much for all those great conversations and being a great ally to me. Speaking of allies, Mr. Gaspar, the Polad, I still come down to get snacks in the DS, so get to run into him every now and again. So thanks for being here. I got Jackie, my photographer, all the way from North Carolina. Thanks for coming. And then also Colonel Gonzalez, ma'am. I mean, thank you so much. She didn't really even have notes up here, so that's how great she is. But Colonel Gonzalez has been mentoring me since I was a first lieutenant. and plenty of tearful phone conversations. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, you're okay. Um, and so her mentorship and her leadership is impeccable. I'm truly grateful for her. She has always had my back. And if you don't have someone like that in your corner, man, go find one. Online folks, hi, I love you guys. Some people couldn't make it today. My grandfather was 93 in North Carolina, his and his wife Bonnie. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as well as my godparents, Randy and Angie. My godbrother Julian's in the back. So hi, came all the way from North Carolina as well. Um, Neighbors, friends, people from all over my career. I'm so grateful for you guys. Oh, one last shout out, Greer in the back. Thank you so much for allowing us, coordinating sponsors to be in this beautiful room, the Kennedy Room. And so take a moment. I'm taking it all in. It's a beautiful space. So thank you, Greer, as well as Team Bennett. Man, Team Bennett for the whole year that I was there. Y'all are awesome. A lot happened during that year, and you guys taught me a lot about how the Senate works, how Congress works. Bills, I'm only a bill. Y'all taught me how to do that. So thank you so much. Um, okay, so um, to my office family right now, LL. Plenty of y'all are in here. I really appreciate you guys. We just came off a hearing, SASC readiness, and you guys held it down. I really appreciate you guys. It was definitely a grind. Who else? Yeah, so many people. I can't say everybody by name, so charged to my head and not my heart. I got Jack and Jill. I got Way of Life. Got all types of people in here. So thank you for coming. Starting off with my beautiful mother-in-law, Selva. Yeah, she is true. She was like, get it together. Y'all are gonna do this or not. She was my hairstylist in college. So I've known her since 2009, even before Steve and I dated. And so she's been such a great pillar in my life, and it's still very much a rock in our family. And then my mom, Natalie, is the one that does all of this, the programs, the cameras, all that stuff. She is where I get, I guess, my perfectionism from. So thank you, Mom, for raising me. I will give gifts. With that. Thank you. Love you guys. Oh, that one. Thank you. All right. Oh, okay. And then my babies, Elijah and Mariah. So Elijah's 8 and Mariah's 7. She just turned 7. 6. I think she's a teenager, really. Sorry. 6, 7. How to do it. But yeah. So their names are Elijah Love and Mariah Joy, and they exhibit their names in every manner of the word. So Elijah is definitely my lover. Some days I can't get out the door because he wants to hug and kiss me. But I appreciate him, and I will never stop trying to get those hugs and kisses. Just when you're a teenager, please continue. Can you do that for me? And then Mariah Joy is a comedian. Like, she is quick and witty. So if you don't want to be roasted, don't come for her. She will do that. But I want to thank you guys so much for being the awesome kids you are. I know mommy has to leave home early and then come home late, but you guys are sticking with me, and I really appreciate you. I love you. Here's some bubbles. I love you. Okay. Lastly, but not least, my husband, Steve Jones. Um, Man, it's been a journey, and he's an incredible officer, and, all by himself. But um, he has definitely taken me on a ride with him, and I appreciate you being patient with me. Um, uh, the work slash home conversations. I'm like, hey, what's going on at AQ or SQ? And he's like, well, and so just passing on that information. I really appreciate you and being patient with me, and then and just sticking by me. So I don't. Last time I gave him a trophy for being a trophy husband, but I don't know if a man can get flowers, but I'm giving him flowers today. All right. So again, if I didn't say thank you to you, yes. A great man once said, "You gotta always thank a chief." So thank you, Chief Rodney Bryant. Yes, we. I always forgot. I always thank the chief. Um, so sorry, you got me. This morning, every morning I do a kind of a study time, just me and God. And I thought this was interesting. The scripture that came up in the my devotion today. It says, "When the Lord your God brings you into the land He swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you, a land with large, flourishing cities you did not build. Be careful that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery." And so, he may be last one in my remarks, but definitely not least. But just want to thank God for being here today. I can't do what I do without him because you guys know the Pentagon is crazy, life is crazy, and so having Jesus Christ as my foundation is everything to me, and this is why I'm here today. So. But thank you all so much for being here. There will be light refreshments in the back, but there will be a party as well with plenty of food later on today. But I thank you for coming here and just being a part of my life. I can't do what I do without you guys. But thank you.